It is Wednesday, February 13th. No, 11th. Cheers. Oh my gosh, this is a coffee with some macadamia nut and vanilla decaf. I'm trying to get into decaf. It's half and half. It's a half calf with some vanilla creamer, vanilla protein shake, which I use as a creamer. Cheers to you. Oh, that's good. That's really good. Okay. I hope you're having a great day and staying warm. I just came in from shoveling. I didn't shovel. What am I saying? I was spreading out rock salt, and that I ran out of that. So then I had some kitty litter, non-clumping. It's all natural. I had to put some of that on my sidewalks because it is treacherous out there. It's a sheet of ice. And that's okay. You know, it rained last night and I saw I was watching it's like little particles of ice, little ice balls coming down. I don't know if you call that hail. But it was a lot. And then I guess rain came over that. So it just became a sheet of ice where I live. So very, very slippery out there today. So be careful if you're going out and the weather is slippery. I'm going to take this off. Back inside. So I hope you're staying warm and safe wherever you are. Let's do a little bit of deep breathing. So if you can, close your eyes and we're going to go within. So, and again, my name is, I don't know if I said that. My name is T. Waldron. This is my cat Pumpkin. And we're here for a little gratitude with attitude. So inhale through your nose. Oh, sorry, I'm a little stuffy from the cold. Exhale through your mouth. And we're breathing slowly and deeply, letting the whole exterior world just fade away and turning our attention within to our inner world. And we're going to inhale through our nose and exhale through our mouth. And with every healing breath, we'll inhale oxygen and exhale stress and tension. Inhaling peace and love. And exhaling that stress. We don't have to hold it. A lot of times we hold stress and we can release it, and it feels so good to let it go. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Keep breathing slowly and deeply. So good morning. What I want to share with you today is a quote from this great book, The Body Keeps Score, Brain, Mind, and Body. Notice he says brain, mind, and body. That's interesting, right? In the Healing of Trauma by Bessel van der Kolk, MD. So funny story about this book. I met Bessel at a conference, and I, afterwards, after he spoke, I brought, the book up for him to sign. I'm like, could you sign my book? He goes, did you get that at the gift shop? And I said, yes. And he said, you paid too much. It's $6.99 on Amazon. He's a funny guy. Hey, Keith, welcome. Good to see you again, my friend. Good morning, as we just automatically and yes, learn to heal and grow together more with every healing breath. Yes and yes. Yeah, great to see you. I hope you've been well. I've been checking out some of your posts. They're really good. I like your purple color. It's really fun. Actually, somebody else started using the same color, so I see their post and I think it's you, and then I say, oh, nope, that's not Keith. But I hope you're doing well. I hope you're, wherever you are, I hope it's not too cold out. It's really, I'm hoping today. It's supposed to break freezing today, so that would be nice if some of this snow melted. And now there's ice, there's a sheet of ice everywhere. Going to the gym this morning, we literally slid in. There were people sliding in. We were trying to get from our cars to the gym, and it was just treacherous. I think I did a triple Lutz on the way in there. Yeah, ooh. 700 healing YouTube shorts. Keith, congratulations. That's beautiful. Hi, Abdik. Welcome. Oh, Indonesia. Welcome from Indonesia. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate that. So yeah, so this book, The Body Keeps Score by Bessel van der Kolk. He's an incredible guy. I want to tell you a little bit about how he started his learning about this information. It was in the late 1960s, during a year off between my first and second year of medical school. I became an accidental witness to a profound transition in the medical approach to mental suffering. He landed a great job as an attendant on a research ward at Massachusetts Mental Health Center, where he was in charge of organizing recreational activities for the patients. That's so fun. And then that's really exciting because you try to find, and then that's what I did for 18 years at an assisted living. I mean, it wasn't medical, but it was more social and spiritual, I would say. But yeah, so MMHC had long been considered one of the finest psychiatric hospitals in the country, a jewel in the crown of the Harvard Medical School teaching empire. The goal of the research on my ward was to determine whether psychotherapy or medication was the best way to treat young people who had suffered a first mental breakdown diagnosed as schizophrenia. So he was trying to see, he would again, see if it was the talk therapy or the drugs that were, more effective with these folks. So the talking cure was an offshoot of Freudian psychoanalysis, and that was still the primary treatment at that hospital. However, in the early 1950s, a group of French scientists discovered a new compound under the brand name of Thorazine that could tranquilize patients and make them less agitated and delusional. So, of course, there's a debate. What works better, talk therapy or medication? Well, the beauty of this is, I'll tell you, hang on one sec. I'll read these in a second because I'm anxious to see what you guys say, but I want to share this. As an attendant, I had nothing to do with the research aspect of the ward. I was never told what treatment either of the patients was receiving. They were all close to my age, college students from Harvard, MIT, and Boston University. Some had tried to kill themselves, others cut themselves with knives and razor blades. Several had attacked their roommates or had otherwise terrified their parents or friends by their unpredictable, irrational behavior. My job was to keep them involved in normal activities for college students, such as eating at the local pizza parlor, camping at nearby state forests, attending Red Sox games, and sailing on the Charles River. Totally new to the field, I sat in rapt attention during ward meetings, trying to decipher which patients, decipher the patient's complicated speech and logic. I also had to learn to deal with their irrational outbursts and their terrified withdrawal. One morning, I found a patient standing like a statue in her bedroom with one arm raised in a defensive gesture and her face frozen in fear. She remained there for 12 hours, immobile, and the doctors gave me the name for her condition, called catatonia. But even in textbooks I consulted, they didn't tell me what could be done about it. We just had to let it run its course. So that's interesting. Let's see what you guys are saying. Yeah, remember, slow is fast and fast is slow. Beautiful. Yes, I love that. Yeah, play therapy. Absolutely. And that's what he's going to get to in a moment. Hey, Clarence, welcome. Yeah, trigger warning, rapid recovery mode activated. Hello, John Rothwell. Welcome. Oh, memory loops. Yes, he gets into a lot of neuroplasticity stuff, which I love. But this is just sort of his history and how he discovered this. So at this time, it was either you take the drugs or you do talk therapy, and they were trying to weigh out which is more effective. So he spent many nights and weekends on the ward, and he went on to say a lot of times the patients would come up to the desk and just start talking because they felt more at ease because it wasn't during the day and it was just one or two people at the desk. So they would start talking. During morning rounds, the young doctors presented their cases to their supervisors, a ritual that ward attendants were allowed to observe in silence. They really mentioned stories like the ones he'd heard overnight when the folks were sharing. And a lot of these folks would share that they had, and I'll tell you, let's see, in the quiet of the night, it seemed to help them open up. And they told me stories about having been hit, assaulted, molested, often by their own parents, and sometimes by relatives, classmates, or neighbors. They shared memories of laying in bed at night, helpless and terrified, hearing their mother being beaten by the father or boyfriend, hearing their parents yell horrible threats at each other, hearing the sounds of furniture breaking. and just, terrible things that they heard in the nights. So he was saying that they didn't open up like this to the doctors. So then he got a lot more familiar with their histories, that they had this serious trauma from their childhoods. But talking about such experiences seemed to be off the table during rounds. I was often surprised by the dispassionate way patients' symptoms were discussed, and by how much time was spent on trying to manage their suicidal thoughts and self-destructive behaviors, rather than on understanding the possible causes of their despair and helplessness. This is where he gets to it. I was also struck by how little attention was paid to their accomplishments and aspirations, whom they cared for, what they loved, what they hated, what motivated and engaged them, what kept them stuck, and what made them feel at peace, the ecology of their lives. So that's really interesting. And then he goes on to say how he, let me check the chat and then I'll tell you what he let's see. Yes. Oh, good morning, Art. Yeah, I know. I'm going to a conference soon, and I'm going to see Bessel van der Kolk again. So I'm boning up on his book. Yeah. Yeah, build rapport, shift emotional states, and relief can feel achieved. Yes, relief can be achieved when we connect with people, right? B, welcome. Yeah, we're doing terrific. Pumpkin just jumped ship, but she's still here. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. Yeah. Yeah, and Keith, it's funny you mentioned that. The memory movie runs on the endless loops, can be the root to depression and PTSD. There is a technique we learned in hypnosis, and it's called the rewind method. And it was very effective to treat PTSD. It's basically, the concept is where when we have a situation that's traumatic, and the person doing the hypnosis doesn't even have to know what the situation is. We just tell the person, okay, you're in a safe place. This is like a real shortened version of it, but pretend you're in a movie theater and you're gonna watch whatever happened, but it's not gonna physically affect you. It's just on a screen, and then so the person actually watches it, and they can go forward or back. They can stop it when they're uncomfortable. And then the next stage is that we tell them, okay, now you're not even in the theater, you're in the projector booth. And that removes the emotion a little bit from that situation. And then they do the same thing. They watch it forward, they watch it backward. And it sort of desensitizes them to those emotions they may have had. And then I forget exactly, I have to bone up on it, but it basically takes away the emotion and leaves that event more as wisdom, and so that they are not tied to the terror or the fear or the pain that they felt when that thing happened. So but many people with PTSD said that was very effective, and it was the only thing they had tried a lot of different stuff, and that really helped them get through it. So I just thought that was interesting. Yeah, rewind backwards and forwards really fast. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, free induction. Yeah, I'm gonna get back to your channel some more, Keith. Are you doing any more lives coming up? Yeah, the third person is beautiful. So and also, even if you're in the moment when something's happening and you don't like it, I found that to get us out of our animal brain, right, we can just sort of pull back and say, oh, the way that person just cut me off, it makes me feel a little bit angry. I'm feeling anger from that. And just by labeling it, we can take ourselves out of that animal brain and be able to respond rather than react. But anyway, so the point is, so he started noticing, so he did these activities with these folks. I'll just summarize the rest of the story, because his prose is beautiful, but it will take me 20 minutes to get through it. But he was doing these activities with the folks. He was taking them camping, taking them sailing on the Charles River. And I mean, these are pretty intense things. I took folks to, the movies or a theater show, and that was always a challenge. So I give him a lot of credit for, doing these super physical activities with a group of people. There's a lot of safety issues involved. So I kudos to you there, Bessel, on that. But he said he noticed that when they were camping, let's say they were camping, it was time to set up. they didn't have the physical capacity that a typical person at that age should have. So he said he had to set up like all the tents while they watched. Or if they were sailing on the river and the boat was tilting, they didn't have the physical awareness to sort of tilt themselves back. Their minds were separated from their physical abilities a little bit. And that he's his theory, and this is where he kind of came up with this. And again, the body keeps score. It sort of separated their physical abilities from their current situation, from their processing. So it's pretty wild. He goes on, and like in later years, he did studies where he took folks with PTSD, and he set them up in, I think, 20-week or long-term yoga sessions so that they could start to release the tension and the stress and these emotions that their body holds. And again, the body keeps score. So, and it was proven to be efficient. So, I never, when I was younger, I never really thought yoga was, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to waste my time with that. But lately I've been getting into that because when we can release our tension, and maybe our muscles are holding stuff for years, if we can start to release those emotions, release those memories, we can just act much better, much more efficiently through life, and it's much more fun. Yeah. Let's see what you're up to in here in the chat. And by the way, thank you to our moderator, Imran Hossain, for keeping our chat positive and full of mom energy. And say anything you like as long as it's constructive and respectful. So that's good. I'm pragmatic in my approach. Empirically, my clients' best results are helping them understand and coexist with their historical trauma. Oh, absolutely. Yes. But also, I think too, taking some action towards change, and that can be symbolic, like with me, it was minimalism. So, I sort of got rid of the old me, and that was very symbolic. Like I was working on the talk therapy, which was incredibly useful, and it saved my life, but also combining it, I don't think it's, mutually exclusive. I think doing all of it can really catapult you to heal a lot more efficiently, and it's a lot harder, of course, to do all different modalities at once. But I think if you're in it and you want to do it and you really want to heal, you have that motivation to move forward. But definitely the talk therapy and knowing historically, like, oh, that's why I did that, or that's why I feel this way, can really, really help. Sure. Yeah. I posted a troll hacker doxing predators defense video with my meditation. Oh, that sounds interesting. Yeah, my method is using color, breathing, and fixation. That's beautiful. I never change the memory, just what they mean. Yes, that's amazing because it's so true. If we can take whatever happened to us, and learn from it, and learn either, how we can deal with it in the future, or maybe avoid it, or whatever the learning is, or maybe how we change from it, then it's a beautiful learning. Yeah. Like the loops that trap you and will never heal you. Right. That's so true. Oh yeah, that's true, Art. No, of course, trauma can't be erased. Absolutely not. Only transcended. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Sorry, I misunderstood. But when you have a friend, you can disagree. And it turns out I agree with you. Okay. My favorite question is, what would be beautiful instead to heal? Wow, I love that. Cheers. This was a heavy topic. Pumpkin had to take off. She's watching from a distance. Fractal, do you want to come up here? Come on. Nope. She's walking right by. Anyway, whew. Yeah, so anyway, I hope you guys have a great day, and I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna I'm working on finishing my last class before the doctorate and then my dissertation. So I'm trying to get that wrapped up as soon as possible. And what else? And taxes. I want to get that done before the weekend. So we'll see how that goes. But I hope you all have a great day. Stay warm, stay safe, and we'll see you tomorrow. So from myself to yourself, thanks for joining me on this journey, and cheers, everybody. Bye, pumpkin. We'll see you next time.